All right, y'all. So welcome this week to Love Frequency, where we turn pain into power and just basically have that high vibration energy, positive love and light. And today we have the Miss Jackson-Seo, CEO boss of Gymbratz, Buns and Guns, and basically business owner of multiple streams of income. And do you want to introduce yourself and tell them like about yourself, your businesses, before we get into the questions?
Yeah, sure. Hello, guys. My name is Shiann, aka Buns and Guns, aka Gymbratz, better known as Hazel Eye Shy in the street. So I got a few names that I use, but today I'm coming as the wife, the mom, and CEO of a business, Shiann Jackson-Seo. So that's the side I'm representing. But yeah, I'm a mom of two. My kids are 11 and 13, which is a whole different level. I'm going into my 42nd year of life. So that's a whole new level as well, learning, growing. And also, me and my husband, we have a business, which is a seafood spot that we just opened up a few months ago, as well as I'm a personal trainer. I train the autistic community, people with disabilities and things like that. So that's kind of new too. So basically, it's just a new evolution for me in my 40s that I'm going through.
Okay, and I love that. I just want to
Yeah.
say, like, firstly, too, if you guys don't know, like, Shy, she basically is the best trainer. If y'all want to know how I look fabulous and good, like, even though I'm here in Hawaii, like, this is who I learned it from.
Yeah.
She's one of the best in the DMV, period, hands down. And once I
Yeah.
come back, definitely gonna be my trainer. But she's
Oh
very
yeah,
like
you gonna see
uplifting
us on
and
the
the best.
scene. The people will
Hell
see
yeah,
us on the scene.
hell yeah, for sure. So we're going to get into these questions. So this week's topic is going to be about like health, wellness, and we're going to throw in some relationship questions in there. But firstly, can you just tell the people like how did you get started into fitness and working out?
Well, for me, I'm an alcoholic. I've been sober now for over like 16 years. So the I used me drinking alcohol to turn into something positive, which was fitness. Like the same amount of times I was out drinking, partying, getting locked up, going to jail, I just kind of put that into fitness and ran with it. It kind of changed my whole being because at first I didn't know who I was, what I was good at doing. I had no purpose. Basically, I couldn't find my purpose in life. But once I put down the drinking, my mind got clearer. I just started walking, start going to group classes, meeting different women that was like-minded. It actually gave me a whole different perspective on life and how when you have confidence and you love yourself, you're working out, you're doing more of helping than harming your body. So I just wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be happy and I wanted to have a purpose in life. And I love helping others. So that's where I found my journey in fitness at.
Okay, I love that. And if you guys don't already know it, Shy was my motivation too to take fitness to the next level. But I think that goes hand in hand too. Like a little bit of my story, I would say as well. Maybe like back in 2009 to 2013, I was in an abusive relationship. So
Mhm,
once I
mhm.
got out of that situation, I'm like, what can I do to kind of like you said, find my voice,
Yes, yes.
turn that, negative thoughts into something that I can, turn that energy into. So that's kind of like how I too got started in 2013. But I think like working out with you, that took it to the next level because
Yes,
back
yes.
then it was like, okay, I was doing yoga, I was working out, but I definitely like transformed myself. So that
And
is
you just
such
get
a
that feeling of empowerment, like nobody can mess with me now. Like I'm
hell
confident,
yeah.
I can work on
Yeah.
myself. And half the time, most people don't work out. And it's not to say that they can't or they won't, but it's like when
Mhm.
you're working out, you just have a confidence and you don't let people just treat you any type of way no more because along wise helping your body is also helping your mind too, as well.
Okay, and that's crazy because the second topic was going to be how does that go hand in hand with like wellness, like mind, body, spirit, soul? And an additional question is, do you think that for us single people, how do you feel about people dating someone who may not work out? Do you think it could
Woo.
work or what you think?
Okay, to answer the first question, how it goes with your mind and body and all that, I just feel
Mhm.
like every day we're going to have challenges in life. Every day, especially when you get in your 40s, you start to see this is what the older generation was talking about. Like it's always going to be something, no matter what what corner you turn, no matter what book you open, what phone app you open, it's going to be something, in life. So I just feel like with fitness, it's like a form of therapy for me. Like when I go there, I don't worry, I shut the world down and I lay it
Right.
all down on the workout. And if you're doing a Buns and Guns workout, once you're done, all that other stuff seems minute.
There
You'd be
you
like, damn, I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I made it. Because
Yes.
we are going to take your body through a series of different motions that where your mind won't even be able to prosper that. I mean, won't be able to, what you call it when you're getting something, process it right then and there.
Yeah.
You'll have time to think about it later. But I mean, stuff's always happening. I had so many deaths in my family. Me and my husband, we lost one of our businesses. We had a liquor store back in, that was 2 years ago. We lost that business. My marriage, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. So I just feel like with fitness, it allows me just to stay focused and grounded and know that things are going to come up anyways. But because I feel good, I can handle it better. I have a clearer head how to handle things. And as far as dating people and
Mhm.
relationships with the gym situation, I'm just be honest. My husband, he does not work out like I do. He does not eat, he does not have a schedule like I do. He does not have like regimens like I do, but he has his own thing that he does, and that works for me. So I just feel like if both people just have something that they love to do, something that's making them at least try, at least better, it will work. But if you have a person that goes to the gym 5 days a week, they got to wake up at a certain time, they got to go to sleep, eat certain meals. I just feel like it'll be better if you get somebody on your speed. But then again, you can't really say that because opposites do attract. So you may meet
Mhm.
someone who doesn't work out and they might balance you out too. So I just feel like it all depends. It's like not one thing is concrete when it comes to that. The person, it all depends on the person. But I would suggest being healthy if you're dating somebody who is working out and things like that.
Okay. And I'll
Yeah.
piggyback off of that. Like, I definitely agree. I like how you said just having that balance, because guess what? Your partner can balance you out in this area. They may not like the gym long as they work.
Mhm.
I would say for me, I agree. The next person moving forward, I definitely have like certain boundaries and
Yeah.
prefer that they have some type of, like, whether that's eating healthy or working out, it just make things work. And I feel like too, because living in Hawaii right now, everything is just so expensive. And I was spending so much money on like extra unnecessary groceries.
Mhm.
And it made it kind of complex. Like one
Mhm.
person may want, junk food, McDonald's, and that kind of stirred me into like eating McDonald's during that
Mhm.
small period
Yeah.
of time. So I'm like, I prefer that we kind of be in an alignment
Yeah.
and be on the same page and eat similar foods, because that
Yeah.
helps.
And insecurities too. Like if you're dating a person that's insecure and don't trust you, that's gonna make it
Mhm.
even harder because if you in the gym, you a baddie. You already know you
Yep.
looking good. People gonna be hollering at you. And your partner, if they insecure, they're not gonna like that. Especially if you were big and you got small, or if you were
Right.
small and got thick. Oh my God,
Mhm.
your partner has to be secure. But I feel like that also is on you too to make your
True.
partner feel more comfortable. You can only do so much. Yeah, if a person is insecure, they are insecure. But just reminding your partner daily that ain't nobody else. Like this, this is all for you. Like it
Mhm.
ain't like that. But I feel like
Right.
as the partner, if you're feeling insecure and you feel like somebody can get your piece, you need to step your game up anyways too.
Right.
Like
Right.
how I met you is how I want you to be. I don't want to date you and then 17 years later you got a beer belly. So
Right.
I'm always motivating my husband to work out, go walk and do something. I need to see that vibe that you had when
Mhm.
we started dating.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's crazy because I had a few people, like even going back to 2013 when I was in an abusive relationship, when I started working out, that was their comment, like, "Oh, you going to the gym to, leave me and look good." And I'm like, you can go to the gym too. We can
Yes,
go
yes,
together, let's motivate each other. I'm just, doing this for me to uplift
yes.
myself and like transmute that energy into something, positive. So I definitely agree with
Because
that. You
who could
got
be mad at you working out on yourself, bettering your health? Like, what human being could be mad at that unless they just insecure or jealous at the end of
insecure,
the day?
insecure, insecure, and jealous. And, that wasn't that first relationship. It was other ones after that. Like, you're spending too much time in the gym. Well, if it take
Mhm,
me 2 hours to work out, it take me 2 hours. That come to the
mhm,
gym. Come with me.
mhm,
How about
mhm.
that?
Mhm.
But yeah,
I wanted to
so
say this too real quickly. There was a point of my marriage too, which was years ago when I wanted to start a campaign, which is from alcoholic to fit chick. And I'll put it
mhm,
out on social media and things like that. But my husband, he didn't have the same view about it until we sat down and actually talked about it. Because at first he was thinking like, our son's baseball team is seeing this, these people are seeing this. How you going to tell them you were
mhm,
alcoholic and this and this? But I had to
yeah,
explain to him, like some of the best people in life have went through, adversities and trials and tribulation, and that makes them stronger. Like, how could you not support somebody who's putting out their story from alcoholics to fit chicks? But at first, I had to
mhm,
see it from his perspective and why he would think that because he wasn't raised like that. I mean,
yeah,
in their community, in the Asian community, they keep everything, quiet. They don't go around talking, telling their business and everything. But in our community in America, we put it all out there. We don't care.
right.
Like we would tell you, like, this is me, this is who I am. What are you going to do? So once we had that understanding about that, he was more supportive of it. But it's gonna if you're in a relationship period, it's gonna be y'all gonna bump heads. It's gonna be stuff, but
Mhm.
communication, I would say, is the key in that aspect.
Okay, I love it. And I'm glad that you guys came to an agreement on that because you will be surprised how many people really need like a mentor or that outlet to say everybody think people go to the gym to look a certain way. Like I think that's
Mhm.
last on my list. I do it for my mental health. It's therapy
Yes,
for
yes.
me. Everybody has a story that they can tell, so it's helping people and it's giving back.
Mhm.
It's taking
Yeah.
something that you love doing, like a passion, and not only
Mhm.
are you doing your passion, you're helping people. So I love it.
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
it.
That's the part.
Okay, so here's the next topic. What is your advice for people to kind of continue forward? And I feel like we kind of maybe touched a little bit on it, but how do
Mhm.
people move forward and continue that momentum after like adversity, which you mentioned, after some type of form of loss? What's your take on moving forward? Like don't just sit in a bed and
Yes,
maybe give
yes.
yourself a week, but like let's keep it moving forward. Let's figure out a plan to get you back
Mhm.
out there and get you back moving, and just I think that is
Yeah.
healthier for you, but some
Yeah.
people just can't grasp that. What do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I feel like if you make it a lifestyle in the first place, when you commit to doing it, that's going to be your lifestyle. That's your regimen. That's in your routine. That's what you're going to do daily. Yeah, when people pass away or, heartache comes, me personally, I wouldn't suggest laying in the bed, sleeping away I would say get up because guess what?
Mhm.
That's how depression will get at you if you're just keeping it all in. If you're laying down, moping in your own, you won't be able to heal from it. Get up, go to the gym, get some sunlight. Even if you don't want to be around people and go to the gym, go outside, go for a walk. Keep moving the body because when you move the body, you release different hormones. You lower your cortisol stress levels because that's important. Once you get caught in that web, it's hard to get out, and it's only so much another human can do to persuade you. So
Mhm.
I would say call on God, get your butt up, look cute, get dressed, and just go for it. Because guess what? Like I said, I know I'm very kind of sympathetic in a way. I'm just like, no, get up and go. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to keep going. You got to keep moving at the end of the day. So my suggestion would be just to keep going, make it a lifestyle, and look at other people around you. Look at those people that you seen dying. Look how they were living. Look at
Mhm.
their
Mhm.
lifestyle. Do you want that to be you? Do you want to be in the grave? And sometimes people got to hear the harsh reality. Like if
Yeah.
you stop moving, you can sicken your own body. You could be sick. You could die in that sick. Like if some people who go through cancer, chemo, they survive. I feel like because of
Mhm.
their positive attitude or the things they do to keep moving. And some people, they let it consume them, take over, so it just all depends. But I would say just keep going, make it a lifestyle.
Yep. I love it. I love it because that's kind of what I did,
Yeah, I
last
was
year
gonna ask
losing my
you that.
mom.
After your mom passed, how did you
Mhm.
keep in fitness? Like, how did you keep going after that?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of use fitness as like I'm not gonna lie. Fitness is an addiction because it's therapy, and I did go to therapy for maybe like 2 months, and I feel like therapy was okay, but I felt like I was giving her the therapy. Like, lady, you're gonna have to pay me at this
Yeah.
point. But that's why I didn't continue it because I felt like what I was doing, living here in Hawaii, going out to the beach, hanging around people, working out. Um, traveling, just still kind of like living my life. Like last year, I went a lot of places. Even when I got back home, my job set me up with different conferences. I was able to go to like Black Hat and all of those conferences. So I was moving, I was on the go, I was working. But I would say not everyone, depending on your personality, can handle that. I guess maybe that's my personality, is to keep moving and keep going. For I don't know what I would do if I sit in the house for a week and not be able to work out, get some sunlight. I don't know. But unfortunately, there's people who handle
That's a
it that
blessing that
way.
you was able to be on the island that beautiful, because it's like, wow. Just imagine if you were somewhere in Baltimore City and
Yeah.
you didn't have the things that you needed. I don't think the healing would have been as successful, maybe, but it's also
Mhm.
just a mindset too. But I feel like
And you
that
want
is
to hear
so.
something? Right. You want to hear something funny? AJ Johnson offer like house parties. So I
Yeah,
spoke
yeah,
with
yeah.
her last year. So if you guys don't already know this, go to AJ Johnson's Instagram page, and she mentors people, and it's not even expensive at all. So I had a
That was
few
Jody's
sessions with
mom.
her.
Jody's mom.
Yeah, Jody's mama. But yeah, like she's a really down to earth person. And I don't know if you guys like read the history behind why she started mentoring people and working out, because she lost both of her parents, but she lost her
Mm,
mother as well from cancer. And that's
mm,
what made her really get into like the fitness and eating healthy. So yeah, I definitely recommend y'all go check her out. She's very cool, down to earth person. And she mentioned that about Hawaii. So she asked me, where am I at now? And I said, I live in Hawaii. And she said, well, what are you doing with yourself? Because Hawaii is a very spiritual place. It's the place where people go to heal. And she said, you live there. So I'm like, yes, I'm doing everything exactly what you're mentioning, going to the beach, doing a lot of healing. And here's the funny part about it. I think spiritually, God set me up ahead of time to be in Hawaii, because I think about
yeah,
that all the time. Like, why am I here in Hawaii? Why am I, away from my family, like from Baltimore
yeah,
and stuff? Why did I leave my mom? But I feel
yeah,
like he was preparing me for that, because
yeah.
you're right. I could have been healing and crying in
Mhm,
Baltimore. I
mhm,
probably still would be working out. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying? Outside, but yeah, it's been a
I
different experience.
definitely agree with that, man, because you just never know where the universe is going to align you at, and everything
Hmm.
happens for a reason. I feel like when you're on that frequency, and I feel like you were there for a reason. Look at your mom; she got to fly out there, she got to be with you. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't get to go to Hawaii with their moms and dads and stuff like that. So I feel like that was spiritually aligned for you perfectly. So in situations like that, it's like, man, I don't need to question the universe. I just need to keep living, keep moving according, because it's already written. It was already written for me. That's my thought process on things. Like, it was already written.
Yeah. Yep.
But let's
I
talk about
agree.
the factor of it, like things like cancer, because someone just put a post up and they were saying things like, healthcare prescriptions are going to be expensive, healthcare and this government shutdown, da da da. And this is
Yeah.
what I said. Like me, I think different from people. Like I go with the solution. I feel like in the first place, if you don't have to have those prescriptions, don't
Mhm.
do it. Like, what are we going to do for our next generation to prevent things like cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, so that way we can be in a more holistic lifestyle, preventative care. Let's start going into sunlight. Let's start eating fruits and vegetables, being healthy, being intentional about what we're putting in our bodies. How much are we going to need to lean on the government for our savior, for our
Mhm.
health? We don't need the government for that. The best
Yeah.
solution is sunlight, eating healthy, drinking your water, staying active and moving the body. Like, that's the best doctor. Why do we need to depend on healthcare systems and high prescriptions? You want to do
Yep.
that. That's a choice. You have
I
a choice.
agree.
Like, I be telling my grandfather he's dealing with cancer now, and I told him, when you wake up, I gave him some natural remedies to do. I told him, get your resistance band. You keep moving your body,
Yeah.
and he's just stuck in his own ways and the things like that. It's like, you guys complain so much, but you're not doing anything for preventative care. Like, show the
Yep.
younger generation better. Like, that's what I'm on now. We can't say the old people, okay, they stuck in their
That's
ways.
true.
But for
Yeah,
the
that
new
is
people,
true.
I'm teaching my kids, go ground, go tree hug, go outside, stop eating
Mhm.
all these processed foods. That's the key to it. Anyways, like, we don't need to depend on the healthcare system I barely go to the doctor. I get sick one time a year. That's because
Yeah,
throughout the year, every day, I'm doing something that can improve my health. And that's just no excuses. That's what we need to do, point blank, period. So
I
when I
agree.
hear people saying they passing because of high blood pressure, it's like I have less empathy because you had a choice at the end of the day.
Mhm.
You decided because you have diabetes, you want to drink diet soda. Like, it doesn't add
Yeah.
up.
Yep, I agree, and it's all about a balance. And we ain't saying you
Mhm.
gotta like
Be
100% start
perfect.
out
Yeah,
like
yeah.
boom,
Oh,
but
trust me,
start
because I
somewhere.
get to that.
Do something like start somewhere. And then also I'm a pescatarian, so this is what,
Hmm.
like, my 21st year being a pescatarian. People always ask me like, what made you become a pescatarian? I don't know what happened. I just woke up one
Yeah,
day and I feel like it was spiritually, I had to change it. And guess what, my menstrual cycle got better. I
yeah.
didn't have like acne, so certain stuff I can definitely tell you that it was the meat that I was eating. Because
Hmm.
even though
Hmm.
now I eat more like seafood, but
Hmm.
that chicken, the beef, the pork, that stuff was definitely affecting my body. I can't speak. You know how sick I used to get. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
never. I don't ever want to go back to that lifestyle. But
yeah.
health is very important, and I'm so
Hmm.
proud of my niece. Shout out to my nieces and nephews. But my niece
Hmm.
wants to open up, like, with her family, she does a lot of like fruits, vegetables,
Hmm.
juicing, but they want to do like a farm. So she
Oh,
wants to
that's
go ahead and
dope.
buy land
Yeah.
to
That's
build
what
her
we all need to
own
be doing, to
empire,
be
buy
honest.
land.
That's what we all need to get into it. And it's a hard place to start, especially when you didn't grow up on the farm. You don't see family members doing it. But just
Yeah.
start. Get a tomato tree. Just start with some basil, some parsley, something.
Mhm.
Start with something. Or go to
Start with
farmers
something.
markets. They do have local farmers markets all around towns that you can find. I just
Yep.
like to put it out there. I like people just to see what I'm doing, and maybe it can help them and inspire them to do it too.
Yep, I agree. And they're actually building a lot right here in my backyard here in Hawaii. They're building where people can like build their own garden. So if you want to grow like fruit and vegetables,
That is
then you
dope.
can. So I'm gonna see how much it costs to get like a small plot, but it's literally I can go out my balcony and look right at the crop and stuff outside.
Yeah,
So
that's
I love
dope.
I love stuff like that. But you're right. It's so important with this. No one wants to get cancer. Before we wrap that
Yeah,
up, not to make this sad, but we do have to start somewhere to make the decisions to say, let me do something about my health. Let me,
hmm,
whether that eating healthy, maybe you can't make it to the gym, but do something, do one or the other. I may not work out, but listen, I eat healthy.
yeah. And
I
you don't
eat
need the
healthy.
gym to work out. If you can work out for free, all you gotta do
That's
is
true.
stand in place and walk and run. Do some of
Do
this. Punch it up,
something.
punch it up. You
Go
don't you don't
outside
need
and
the
walk.
gym to get healthy and go outside and walk.
Mhm.
Period. That's
Yeah.
free. That don't cost nothing.
I miss them COVID days though. When we used to work out.
Oh
Ooh, I miss
man,
those days.
man. That's when everything was
Mhm.
clear. You
Yeah.
could breathe. I always say that. I want to go back to the COVID days. They be
Me
like, girl,
too.
what? I
Me
say
too. We had a
I
good
never
time
got
working out,
COVID.
living our life. Shoot.
That part, that part. And that's
I love
another thing. Be careful what you listening to. Don't just go with what you hear. With
it.
the V word, the CV, the CV. We talk about
Yep.
don't just quickly do something because you're fearful of it. Pray about it, put it out there and see how you feel about it. Do your own research. Don't just listen to what the CDC, the doctors, the government is telling you. Do your own research and feel it in your gut. Like everything that comes to me comes through my gut. Like if it said no, no. It's a no.
That's right.
I'm not going to disobey what I feel inside myself. I can't do it. Just because you're going to cuss me out, you're going to be mad at me, you're going to call me stupid. I don't care. I'm going with my instinct and my gut to not do
That's
things.
right. Have that discernment.
Advocate
Um,
for your own health.
that's true. And that's what I meant by, I think I posted it yesterday. It was about like educating yourself and
Mhm.
understanding the law. And that was partly why. If you don't know the proper things, anybody can tell you anything, whether that's
Yep.
law, whether
Mhm.
that's health or whatever, because you just don't know. I can bamboozle you easily. Always do your research. Don't believe like
Mhm.
what someone else say, but educate yourself enough because it could be life or death for you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Education is key. And another thing too, speaking of my Bali trip and like going out of the country regarding like the health piece, every
Mhm.
time I go out of the country, I always come back in a different mood. The food over
Mhm.
there is so different than American food.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. Like I feel like my body go through a shock or something. And I
Yes.
eat healthy and I juice, but it's just something about the fruits and vegetables over
Yeah.
there that's just
Hmm.
totally different than America
Hmm.
fruit and vegetables. So
Hmm.
I
And that's
love
true because
Bali.
I'm allergic to most fruits. I'm allergic to most fruits with a seed, but because we're in
Mhm.
America and this half the stuff is not real, I barely have a reaction. But it's been a few
Mhm.
occasions where I went like to a real farmer's market and ate like
Mhm.
an avocado. My mouth immediately broke out. Like that's
Oh,
how I know if the fruit is real or not. If my mouth start itching, that means it's real. But if it's no reaction, oh, that's genetically modified right there.
yeah. Yep. And that's sad to say because you even gotta be careful with the fruits and vegetables you buy. That's sad, but it's the truth on that
Yeah.
part. Just
And
because
that's
it's
why I would
healthy
suggest
don't mean it's healthy.
detoxing yearly, go sitting in the sauna because you can release toxins. Like on Monday, me and this guy from my job, we're doing a 3-day water fast. And I do those throughout the year periodically, every time like the season change, because you can rejuvenate your cells. You could get right down to the autophagy, which is really in your DNA, clearing all that out, all those toxins. So sometimes you got to do, the body is a natural detoxer, but you got to aid it. You got to help it. You got to push it
Yeah.
along, because we consume, we breathe in so many bad toxins when we leave our house and in our house. Like when we spray and stuff, when we have smell good scent, all that stuff is toxic to our body. So just detoxing throughout the year, doing fast is the best bet. I'm telling you, doing fast is so good for your body, for real.
And quickly, can you piggyback on like fasting? Like what is fasting to you and like what is detoxing? Like steaming and like what do you do for like fasting and detoxing?
Okay, well, for detoxing, I feel like it's different from fasting because from detoxing, you can actually eat things that are aiding it. Like, say, if you're doing a watermelon detox, you can eat watermelon for those days and your body will detox all that stuff out because watermelon is 90% water, so you'll just detox your body out. If you're doing things like spinach, kale, those things pull things out of your liver. If you have different like pumpkin seeds, or say if you have cilantro is a huge one. It pulls things out your blood too. Now if you're doing a fast, you basically not eating, you abstaining from eating. You might have like teas, non-caffeinated teas, black coffee, and it actually helps your body. It puts you in a starvation mode, so your body starts to eat those bad things, those bad cells, those old dead cells in your body. So it actually rejuvenates you, give you new cells. So to me, I would do both. I would do both throughout
Hmm.
the year. And why
Okay.
doctors don't suggest this, I don't know. Like
Hmm.
even intermittent fasting, I'm huge on intermittent fasting. It's not what you eat, it's basically picking a time window to eat. So usually if I do an intermittent fasting, my time window would be like from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then I'll fast from 8 p.m. all the way back to 2 p.m. And it's giving your body a chance to detox that food that you had the day before, clear your liver out. Our body needs to reset and rest every day. So if you're waking up, eating breakfast, eating snacks, eating lunch, eating dinner, how will your body have time to catch up? That's how you see
That's
people with
true.
big stomachs and big guts and things like that. Sometimes they're not even fat. They just need a detox. They just need to get that bloat, that detox out. Just stop eating. Code, just stop
Right.
eating for a minute.
Right.
And then your
Yeah.
body will get used to it. Because even I was listening to something else, it was a whole campaign to get people to eat breakfast and then turn into lunch and then dinner, like 3 meals a day. We were not meant to eat 3 meals a day. We definitely
Mhm.
wasn't. One meal. A lot of
I
people
agree.
do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, where you're fasting, drinking water, and then you just eat one. But that's all your body needs, to be honest. We
I agree.
overprocess, overfeed our bodies on a daily
I
basis.
agree.
So I would say just do your research on all of this that I'm saying, because trust me, you will rewind your age. You will rewind the clocks back. You will go to the hospital less breakout, less acne, you know,
Mhm.
less
I agree.
smells, because as a woman, you need to detox when that cooter cat and those pits and everything to start to smell. That's his
That's
real talk.
true.
you need to detox for real.
That is true. And I can't force myself. That's another thing too with working out. People always ask me like, what do I eat? Once a day. I can't even force myself to be doing all that stuff. Like you gotta eat
Mhm.
6 times a day, do this. I cannot. I can only eat
Yeah.
1 time a day. I fast a lot. This is my going on my first year, 1 year anniversary for juicing because I started last year juicing.
Oh, that's what's up.
Um, yeah, I don't even
Congratulations.
buy like juice in a refrigerator. Right now, I
Yeah.
got cabbage juice and watermelon, and I'm not gonna lie, I was because I don't know if y'all saw me, but I was drinking this. Don't judge me.
It's okay to
Don't
treat
judge me.
yourself, baby. But what I would say, if you like soda, get those Ollie. I love me some Ollie Pop and
It's that
Poppy.
once a
Oh my
month,
God.
man. It's like the once a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah,
was
I
crazy.
know.
I'm like, damn, I need, yeah. But don't
Yeah.
worry, y'all. I'm a detox. We're
And if
doing
you got a
better.
craving like that, take it, because if not, you're gonna go into a binge and you're just gonna start eating
Mhm.
everything. So if you have a craving, I would say take care of it and then move on. Like put it back in the past. Like it is what it is. We're human at the end of the day. Like last weekend, the whole week I ate good. I was like, I'm getting me some pizza on the weekend because I earned it. You got to earn that stuff though.
That's true. That is
And if you
true.
know
You
your
better earn
mind is
it.
not strong enough, I wouldn't suggest it. Like if you know you can't just go eat, a little unhealthy on the weekend and go back to it, then I wouldn't suggest it until you get stronger mentally.
That's true. Yep. And I know for us, we definitely have that mental and that spiritual. So we know how to handle it and fast and be very strict with our goals and what we need to do.
I want to
So
ask you a question real
go
quick in
ahead.
the hot seat, because
Okay.
I've known you since we were about 7 years old, and I'm
Mhm.
seeing you in a new light in this new year. You're in your 40s, you're thriving, you're growing, you're beautiful,
Mhm.
you're on your fitness, you're eating healthy. And I know in the past, some relationships may have been on the rocky side. How do
All
you
of them.
feel it differs from the approach of people? Because like sometimes people approach you differently in different seasons of your life. So if
Mhm.
you're in this season, how are people approaching you now that you basically in your element? How are people approaching you?
Okay. So, and with that being said, we getting into the relationship questions after
Okay.
this. So
Okay.
I feel like it's more of a me thing. It's starting with me. So I definitely would say last year, losing my mom has really shook me up to the point where I no longer accept certain people. And these were the things that my mother has always been telling me for a long time. Like, it's
Mhm.
not that she may meet someone and just automatically not like them. She sees certain things and she see
Mhm.
me. She just tell me straight up, you're not in alignment with this person. For
Mhm.
example, if you know that you work at the bank and look
Mhm.
how you present yourself, why would you want to date a drug dealer? Or why would you want to date
Yeah.
someone that's doing drugs or whatever the case may be? It's not in alignment. You need to have
Mhm.
more self-love, and it starts really with you. So I feel like it took me from probably 2013 to last year, 2024, losing my mom to really get it, like that
Mhm.
last relationship. And you know what's funny? I'm not upset with any of my exes or any past
Mhm. Mhm.
relationships. How I approach people going forward is they have to be in alignment with me. If I see
Mhm.
certain red flags, let it go. Because sometimes people see red flags in people. I'm talking about myself here.
Mhm.
And we would like let it go and still date that person thinking stuff
Mhm.
would change when really it's
Mhm.
not going to change. It's going to get worse because you got to ask yourself, why they not coming in doing the
Mhm.
right thing?
Mhm.
They already starting off on a bad foot. So that bad foot is only going to get worse and worse and worse. So for me, I'm really taking heed to like my mom's advice, really
Mhm.
paying attention. Like it's okay to date people. Don't rush into a relationship. Um, don't be afraid to be alone, which I have no problem with being alone because there's
Mhm.
been moments where I was single for 6 years and was like
Mhm.
celibate for 6 years. So that's not
Mhm.
a problem with me being alone, but it's more so was an issue for me picking the wrong partners, like trying to help them, level them up, but really they just wasn't on my level mentally, spiritually, or
Mhm.
physically.
Mhm.
Not to judge, but didn't want to work out, didn't want to eat healthy. Certain lifestyles they were doing wasn't in alignment, with
Mhm.
what I was doing. So that can't affect you. So
Mhm.
spiritually going forward, they have to be on some type of level with me. in that aspect. Now, I do feel like as far as people approaching me, most people don't approach me. I have to approach them because some people are intimidated by me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I have gotten that a lot from people. I'm not afraid to, slide in someone's DMs if I think, we are in alignment with each other. So I feel like I do more of the approaching because people are afraid.
So you be shooting the shot.
Yes. Yes.
I get it. I get it. I get it. And it's sad that when you're in your highest self and your best self, people don't know how to approach you. They just don't. But I just feel like if that's your person, your tribe, your vibe, it will happen naturally anyway. Like obviously if it hasn't come, it's not natural. Like things have to be natural and authentic, and y'all both have to be aligned on that. You shouldn't even have to go shoot your shot. It should just come naturally, and if it hasn't, those aren't the people. Those ain't the people,
So give me some advice. How does that come naturally? Because people don't be approaching me. They'll look and, even at work, it'd be so funny because my coworkers, they'll get on me all the time. Like people will walk past me. So everybody know I like women, but of course the men, a lot of people don't know that I'm a lesbian. The men would just be at my desk, like how in Coming to America, how he was mopping the going back and forth. They be doing that in my job. And I'm just looking at them like, is that something you want to say to me or whatever? It's so hilarious. But what's your advice then?
But I feel like at this point you're living the advice that I would give you. You're doing everything that you need to do. Maybe it took you life trials and tribulations to get to this point, but I feel like who you are today authentically, they're going to approach you, they're going to come. Maybe it just hasn't been that person yet. Maybe you have to move this place. Maybe you got to go to another place. You never know where you're going to be at the time when this person finds you or your tribe finds you. I feel like it's like you said, it's no rush. Like when I found my husband, I was tired of men. I was tired of dating. I was like, you know what? I was about to do me. I'm gonna have fun with life. I'm gonna look cute, and when that person comes, they're gonna come. So just let it flow to you naturally. Period. Because I feel like that person who comes naturally is gonna be able to stick longer than anybody that you would, meet. Just like, okay, let me just see what this person's on, or let me see what they on. No, I don't want to see what nobody's on. Y'all come see what I'm on, when it's
That's
natural.
Right. That sounds like something my mom would say, like, let them approach you. Let them come to you because, that's something she would say. And
they
you're right
might
on
not
that.
be in Hawaii. They might not be in Maryland either. They might not be in Vegas. They might be in Chicago. You just never know where that person is going to be,
That's true. Yeah.
Just keep on traveling like you are, having fun, getting dressed up, being in your feminine energy. And I feel like you will attract that person. Seriously.
The right one, because I ain't playing no games now. I'm listening. I've been taking your advice, hands down.
But do you feel like if you do find that right one, do you think it's going to be a hard adjustment? Because now a lot of people are saying, using words like love bombing and this, like, is this person really for me? Like, through your past relationships, how do you feel like you'll be able to, discern if this person is really for you? Like, do you feel like it's a feeling? Are you going to ask God? Like, how are you going to discern that person would be for you?
Yeah. So spiritually, I had a spiritual dream. I told my mother about this dream a lot. In 2013, it was about God. So basically, God in the spirit world blessed this relationship, blessed this marriage. It's a soulmate that's coming. My mother has always told me that. I feel like because of what I went through last year, I know now that I can't play any games. I can't afford that because of the pain of losing my mother. I can no longer accept someone, being verbally abusive, being abusive, not having their shit together, because that may trigger me, you know what I'm saying, and get off my course. So I no longer can accept any of those negative qualities in people. Not to judge, not to say someone has to be 100% perfect, but I'm just saying, just don't be on no bullshit, because I'm not on no bullshit. So I have stronger discernment, which I've always had discernment. And my mother would tell me that too. She said, in your spirit when this person isn't right or wrong, but yet you're ignoring that just to make, for the sake of the relationship, to make it work. Stop doing that. Because guess what? It ended up being true anyway. Like that, like you said, that gut feeling, something don't feel right. That's because it's not. So I
And
think I
your
would
mom
know.
definitely had discernment. Your mom,
She
she was
did.
more
She was
spiritual
like,
than you may think. I think that's where you get it from. Your mom was very spiritual. She felt it when it rained. She felt it like she seen it
"Mhm."
coming before anyone did. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
But sometimes we need to go through it ourselves. You know, at the end
Yep.
of the day.
Yep. So I say I went through that. I went through the fire. That was a wake up call. And it's unfortunate that you got to lose people. But what I will say is that losing my mom has made me love more. It sounds strange,
Hmm.
but I have
Yeah.
unconditional love for everything. Like just being blessed to go outside, just being blessed,
Hmm.
animals,
Hmm.
trees, like everything around me. I love it. It's heightened
Hmm.
now. So
Yeah.
it didn't destroy me. It actually made me love more and to see
Hmm.
through people and just really have
Hmm.
that discernment. So I think I'm going to be all right. If I meet this person, I would know it. I would definitely
Hmm.
have the discernment. I'm not on playing no games with them. I'm not dealing with no negativity, none of that stuff that I was
Hmm.
dealing with in the past. And it is what it is. So
Only
yeah,
green flags. Only green flags.
only green flag.
Yes.
So my relationship, okay, going into the relationship questions for you, your story was
Hmm.
very beautiful, like how you met your husband. What advice? And I feel like we kind of talked about it a little bit. Like, do you have tips for a single women
Hmm.
if we were to look for our spouse or a spouse? Like you
Hmm.
said, let them find you, but like any piggybacking off of that, what's your advice as a married woman for a single people? What's your advice on marriage?
Hmm. I feel like first you got to know in your head what you're looking for, what you want, and to stand on that. If you want a provider, go after a provider. If you want a 50-50 man, go after a 50-50 man. Down to what color do you want the guy to be? How old? Do you want him to have a great relationship with his mom? How his treat his family? How is he? Does he have any kids? I just feel like before you even start to put yourself in that position, you got to know exactly what you want. All right. Once you know what you want, then you'll know what to look for, what to get. You know, like I know I wanted one girl, one boy's kid. I know I wanted my kid to have good hair. I knew I wanted a provider, somebody who's gonna take care of me. I knew I wanted somebody who loved their parents, their mom. And I just wanted someone who was going to take care of me like I was their own child, you know? So
Mhm.
that was what I wanted. I would suggest anybody just know what you want. Don't be out here playing games with people. When you see red flags, run the other way. Don't, because
Please do.
you could get caught up in cycles. You know, get caught up in relationships. Like I got a friend now. She's in a relationship. I keep telling her you need to end it. You need to get out of it, but people have to go through it themselves. But I would suggest if you see them red flags, run, because 9 times out of 10 you're seeing it for a reason. You know, you're the
Mhm.
person that loves you. It shouldn't be Y'all shouldn't be like 1, 2, 3 years in and already having issues, already having problems. That still needs
Yep.
to be the honeymoon phase, you know.
Yep.
That's when I see different people talking, I'll be like, they have no idea. Like, yeah. And then people think it's a fairy tale. Marriage is not a fairy tale. You know, you're not going to have, it's not going to be peaches and cream every day. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have moments where even Michelle Obama said it, even if you go through a span of 5 years where you hate your husband, but you have 10 years that you love him, take it. Because I'm telling you, any human that you get involved with, y'all going to have to coexist, learn each other, especially if you start off with no kids and you have kids. If you have a business, you're going to have to extra stress. Like, the last business that me and my husband had, that could have ruined our relationship if we would have stayed in that same business, because it's like you're seeing your partner, you know, trying to stop, you know, basically trying to keep his business up here, but it's like your marriage is down here now because you have to focus on the business. You know, it's like a hard balance to do, but it's possible and it's doable to get around. Communication is the key. You know, sometimes giving your partner space, give that person some space. You know, I'm a Sag, I need my space sometimes.
And we love the
So
Sagittarius. Hmm.
yes,
And that was
yes.
actually
And my
another
husband a
topic on here.
Pisces. Yeah, my husband is a Pisces, right? So I always
Hmm.
tell people marry a Pisces man, or I wouldn't say woman, I would say man, because Pisces women, they way too emotional. Oh, they'll cut you if you try to do anything, they'll stab
Oh,
you.
damn. Okay.
But I would say one thing about Pisces, they're lovable, they're very loyal. And
Hmm.
that's what attracted me most to my husband, his loyalty. You know, they're very sensitive. So it kind of balances you out a little bit because I'm very tough. It's hard for me um to what you call it? What you call it when you like all up on people? I can't think of the word right now,
Be
but
clingy. Some people
like
be like real clingy and
yeah,
affectionate,
yeah.
you know.
Affectionate. That's the word I'm looking for. I wasn't real affectionate, especially because I didn't grow up with that type of mom. My mom gave
Yeah.
me tough love, so I grew up the same way, tough love. But once I had my kids, it made me more affectionate, and I try to love on them, hug on them every day. So it is just all depends on too how you were raised. I would say that your environment, like you and your mom, you had a very close relationship,
Yeah.
and that might make you more lovable, more, intimate with people. But
Mhm.
me, I was raised with tough love, so it's like, oh, like no, like nah. But I needed to soften up too, though. I was kind of hard around the edges, rough around the edges, and I feel like my husband was able to balance me out too with that.
I love it.
So
And
it's
that
a
was
lot that
actually,
goes into.
yes, that was actually one of the questions you already touched on. It is like, how do you balance like business and relationships?
Mhm. And I feel
Yeah,
like with our new business that we have, I told him, you run the business, you handle, because at first he tried to give me all these tasks. I said, no, we're not gonna do that
mhm.
again. This time you run the business, I'm gonna help where I can, but I'm gonna hold the house down and the kids because that's a whole nother thing on its own. I feel like it works. When two people have their own thing going on, it works better. Y'all could come together and y'all could be more communicated, more celebrated. Let your spouse do their thing and you do your own thing. Because if you guys are 24/7 business, work, all that, is I'm telling you, somehow it's gonna crash. You
I
might
like
see
that.
these people doing this online, but that's not reality. You don't know what they're going through behind doors.
Mhm.
Never look at someone else's life and think, oh, I want that, because you don't
For
know what
real.
those people are going through in the
That's
background.
true. That is true.
And I'm gonna be
I,
honest, it's not easy. I'm telling you, just keep it separate. Keep it separate if you can. Y'all can buy the business together and have it together, but let one person delegate most of that.
I like that. I like that. And it's all about a balance. And like you say, having that boundary and say, look, I'm the wife. I handle the
Hmm.
household and I allow my husband, he handle this part. And that's how we work.
Hmm.
And it's balanced that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
You
think
do what
that's a
works for you
quality.
in your relationship. At the end of the day.
It is. That's true. That's whatever works. You saying, you asking me what works for me, or you
No,
saying
no,
for
no.
everybody?
Yeah, I'm just telling people like what
Yeah,
we do, it might not work for the next person. You
that's
might want
true.
to be all up on your husband all day, every day, clingy, trying to figure out what they doing. That's not me. I'm not going to do that
Right.
because that's most of the time people can't trust their husbands or their wife, and they want to
Right.
be all up around them, seeing who calling them, who hitting them up.
Yeah,
No,
that's too
I'm
much.
not.
That's
I'm
too
past that.
much.
Once you get into like the 17th year of your marriage, is way different. It's like at this point, y'all family. It's like more like family, basically. You don't want to be around
Right.
your family all damn day either. Let me
I
ask you
agree.
something. What do you feel about this? Because this was on the movie too, Sex in the City, and another celebrity was talking about it too. How do you feel about it? Say if you were in a long-term marriage or relationship, how do you feel about separate rooms? Like not, y'all might sleep with each other sometime, but how would you think you would feel about it? Oh, Cameron Diaz was the one who said something about that.
So when I was younger, like, of course, I've never been married or nothing like that. I always said that I don't mind having separate houses. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't mind us having separate rooms because I feel like we need at least for me, I like I like having my individuality. I don't need to be up on you all day. I know how to be affectionate. I know how to fall back. I know how to give you your space. And I know how to be in your space if need be. So I know
Hmm.
how to balance things out. And I do not mind if we had a house and my spouse had their own separate bedroom at all. I think it works. And I think overall that's the type of partnership that I would be looking for, is someone that
Hmm.
have their business or have their own individuality, and then I'm doing
Yeah.
my thing. Because in the past
Hmm.
relationship, that was another issue for me.
Hmm.
um Sometimes your partners can be jealous of you, and I feel like a lot of my relationships were just kind of blocking my shine, didn't want me to work out, didn't want me to do any type of business. It was just an issue. So it didn't
Hmm.
matter what I was doing, like doing my own thing. And you know me, like I'm not a cheater, I'm not none of that. I would give them
Hmm.
everything, but for some reason they just was very insecure, very jealous, very controlling, very clingy. I don't like that. Have your space, have your separate room if you need to. Hell, we can
Hmm.
even have separate houses.
Hmm.
What do you want?
See,
So
People who secure will answer like you just did. And for me,
Mhm.
we did it before. Like when we had our house in Aberdeen, we had a guest room, but sometimes hubby would sleep down there. And for me at the time, it was because of snoring. He snored so loud. And I just felt like if we would have stayed in that same bed, I probably would have, suffocated him or something like that. But I just feel like people have their own reasons. But I would suggest, I mean, when you get in your dream home built with your spouse, get y'all a separate room, and that doesn't mean y'all don't love each other. That doesn't mean you don't want to be around him. It just means you're human, okay? And when y'all get into an argument, you're not about to leave. Don't leave. Go to a hotel. Go to your room.
Right. Go to your room. Go
Go
to
to your
your room.
room.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to my room, and we're gonna come together. We still got other areas, kitchen. We can bond in the kitchen. We can bond in the backyard. We can bond in the living room. But I just feel like, I mean, for a longevity of your marriage, if you want to be married for a lifetime and be honest with yourself, yeah.
Right.
The next house I
I,
get, I'm gonna make sure it's a 4 bedroom, 5 house. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And then my dream home is to have like my studio where I have my like artistic stuff. And if they do art or music, whatever, they have their studio to kind of like
Yes.
do their own
Yes.
thing. And then we could have something as a partnership together. But I love individuality.
And would you ever
You
do
know,
like polygamy? Because a lot of people are doing
no.
that these days. Okay.
That's not for me either because I feel like it's just too much energy that I gotta,
Yeah.
give time to. And I already kind of like, not to say it's me, like I said, I'm okay with being alone. I've been alone. Some people cannot be alone in a relationship. Like they'll jump from one relationship to the next. That's
Mm-hmm.
never really been me at all.
Yeah.
So
When you see
yeah,
people doing that, it's something in them that they're not comfortable with. They still don't have self-love yet. When they keep jumping, they looking for something, but they don't even know
yep,
what they're looking for.
yep,
And I would suggest, if you're single, you are in a good place. I don't know why people always say single people this. If you're single and you could be happy, you can live a life, you can be glamorous. If you're single, it's your time to figure out who you are, find what you like to do, your hobbies and things like that. And I'm telling you, you will attract that person to you. You know,
yep. I definitely
enjoy
agree with you.
enjoy being single, because when you do get into a marriage, it's a commitment. You have to commit to this person. You signed up for it, so you have to commit. Once you're in, ain't no going back, for real, for real. So you got to know that's exactly what you want, and in order to do that, you got to be by yourself for a while.
I agree. And I know we're getting close to time, so
Mhm.
I'm going to do one more question and we're going to wrap it up. But I do want to kind of piggyback what we were saying. I do sometimes what I have come to a realization was like, and not to judge or not to like offend anyone, what I'm about to say, I feel like
Mhm.
in heterosexual relationships versus like, let's say lesbian relationships, I feel like some of them move so fast into a relationship
Mhm.
without really knowing who they are as a person or giving it
Mhm.
time. Not saying it's not going to work, because you could meet someone tomorrow, get married, etc. But I think with two women, it could be a little bit more complex because some women, they be in a fairy tale, like in their head. And
Mhm.
once they get with that person, they realize that they really don't like that person at all. And I feel like
Mhm.
people can Google this, but the high statistics of divorce come from lesbian couples. The even psychiatrist has also said that lesbian relationships in therapy have been the worst, and they don't recommend. They prefer not to have therapy with lesbian couples because it's just a lot. It's a lot of abuse
Mhm.
in lesbian relationships, so it's just so complex. That doesn't change like my preference or anything, but it definitely made me
Now, would that
aware
change
that
if you're dating like if you're a lesbian, if you're dating a femme versus dom? Does that change the situation?
no, because at
Okay,
the end of the
because at the
day,
end of
it's
the day,
still,
women are women.
yep, it's still women. You
Okay.
still dealing with hormones. You still dealing with emotions. So all that, like, I don't
Mhm.
get into all that, like this person's feminine or dominant, because at the end of the day, they all women too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that for like another topic because I feel like
Mhm.
some studs, they have identity issues too because they're trying
Mhm.
so hard to be masculine or they a point to prove, but when they
Mhm.
get in a relationship, not realizing that we are a partnership and it's about balance. So if you want to be feminine, do that. You don't have to prove that to me. Be yourself. But for some of
Mhm.
them, dating, and that could be why, like, I attracted maybe the ones that were like abusive and jealous or whatever, because maybe they're battling something within themselves, and they're
Mhm.
using that as a control tactic to control the relationship, control whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, that whole U-Haul, like moving in, like I don't do that. Like my ex, it took us 2 years to move together, and then the other one, 2 years too. So I don't do that. Like let's move in after 30 days type with women. No,
Yeah.
no,
Oh yeah.
ma'am.
Y'all be in there going head up.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But
And they
yeah,
say
that's
with
gonna be a
heterosexual, more women in heterosexual sexual relationships in divorce. Like more women divorce their husbands than men divorce
yep.
their wives. Because women be
So
all over
imagine
the
two
place.
women. That's what I'll be
Hmm?
saying. Imagine
Yeah.
two. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
feel like when a man make a decision like this is who I want to be with, he for real about it. But I feel like with
Yeah.
women,
Yeah.
they see fairy tale, they see lights and glitter, they jump into the
Hmm.
relationship, they get married, boom, and divorce because they don't know the person, they irritated, they emote. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
why they have the highest rate. Yep.
Hmm. Agreed.
Okay. So last question is, what do you feel about finances in marriage or finances in relationship? Do you feel like you should come in like with a plan in finances? Is it okay to mix bank accounts?
Yeah, because I always say the three biggest reasons why people who divorce or fall out of love is finances, sex, and communication. Those are the three biggest
Mhm.
reasons. And I would say have your own account, and then have a joint account too. Have your finances together. Like when I got married, I was 23. It was kind of different place. Like we were both starting off at the bottom, raising our way up. But if you're trying
Mhm.
to get into, say if y'all both are financially stable, that would be the best bet. Don't be a bum girl going into a relationship looking for a guy to provide for you. Now, if he provides, hey, that's 100%. But still
Mhm.
have your own money because you just never know. And then for a man, you got to know if you want to be a provider for this woman. You got to know I got to be a provider for this woman. This comes with some things, but also you got to know as a woman, if you're going to have a man that's a provider, that comes with things too. You got to be able to want to
Mhm.
play your role, that housewife role too. You got to take care of your man who's working hard. So I would just say, at the end of the day, y'all both should have your own money, but then y'all both should have a joint account. You should know who's paying the bills, who's taking care of what. Because at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest deal breakers in a relationship. Like my husband, he's the provider, he works, he gives me the money. So it's up to me to go handle everything, make sure the bills is paid. Some people don't like it like that. Sometimes it can get tricky though too. So
Mhm.
sometimes when your spouse don't know how to pay the bills, sometimes you be like, you pay the bills, you handle this
Right.
then. So I just feel like it's all about balance and growth in a relationship. You're gonna go through those times, figure out what works best for you. But I feel like now at this point, what works
Mhm.
best for us is me being the person who helps out, with paying all the bills. But my husband, he's the main provider, main supporter. But I got to a point where I wanted to support myself too. I wanted to contribute, because at so long I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband was taking care of everything, but that gets old too. Especially as you grow,
Mhm.
you get older. You like, I want to make my own money. I want to do my own thing. So I just feel like it's different levels for your relationship that you're going to go through, regardless of what,
Right.
however you come in, that's not going to be the same place you are 5 years, 10 years. It's not going to be the same thing. 20 years, it's not going to be the same thing. But once you have a foundation that's laid and y'all kind of know,
Mhm.
then I feel like you'll be good.
Yep. Okay. I love that. I love that response, and I totally agree. And just to kind of like wrap everything up here, I was gonna have another topic, but this can go on and on and on. But I just want
Yeah,
to thank you
yeah.
so much for coming on the
Yeah.
show this week, and we'll have
Thank
many
you
more
so much. I'm
sessions.
so proud of you, your consistency, what you're doing. Keep going. I can see
Yeah.
it now. You're going to have some of the dopest podcast episodes, episode
Yep.
167, episode 2000 for the 99. Let's go.
That's right. All right, y'all. So stay tuned next week. The topic is going to be about Savior Complex. That's loading. And we just want to thank our guest today, CEO Boss, Miss Shiann, for coming on the show. And
And
as
go follow me on
mentioned,
Instagram,
oh yeah, tell people
underscore
what's
Gymbratz.
your handles and stuff so people can follow you and follow the business and go support you. Like, can you let the people know
Yes,
like their
you can follow me on Instagram, underscore GYMBRATZ, underscore Gymbratz. You can also follow our business page, which is at Seafriend. It's a seafood restaurant located in Lorton, Virginia. We're open 7 days a week, so come by, get the fresh crabs, get your seafood, your shrimp, your scallops, hush puppies. We got collard greens, coleslaw. We got it all.
Okay.
And if you
Oh, I'm
follow me on
hungry.
Facebook, Shiann Jackson, you can follow me there. And also, if you have a family member with a disability, reach out to me because I love to train people with disabilities in a wheelchair, blind, visually impaired, visually hearing impaired, anything. We got you over here. So just reach out to me.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard it there. And thanks. Stay tuned. And thank you guys for tuning in to Love Frequency. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.